Hey, yo, we are back with another one. This is Said Talk Podcast. Listen, this is the financial game changer. So once again, we're doing a series, financial talk, right? How money works, how money grows, the rules of money, everything. We're going to be talking about all of it. And guess what? We're breaking it all down with our series, the financial game changer. So welcome back to Said Talk Podcast. We got Angel back with us again, about to make things happen. We're going to talk about some good stuff today.
Let's do it.
But really more so breaking down some of the, we want to help other people understand when it comes to life insurance policies. We want to make sure people understand when it comes to the interest that allows their money to grow on its own. Like, we want to talk about the whole nitty and gritty of, a lot of people, they're not really into insurance. They hear it and they're just turned off, right?
Yeah.
And so that's how we're going to open. So I'm going to ask you a question first.
Okay.
Why do you think people are so uninterested with insurance in general? Like, whether it's health insurance, life insurance, car insurance, why are people so interested?
And I think the reason that is, and I got this answer from someone that I was speaking to on the plane. And he said, well, why am I going to trust these insurance companies when they're going to pay me like a whopping deductible? And I was like, in my mind, I was like, do you ever hear of deductibles being charged when you die? Like,
So
somebody dies.
is he referring, it sounds like he's talking about like hospital,
He
like
was
healthcare insurance.
he was referring to, like, his example was car insurance.
Okay.
So, for example, you get in a car accident, depending on your insurance plan, you're going to have to pay a deductible for them to fix your car. So he was just referring it to that. He was like, or even appliance. You insure your appliances in your home, or you have a homeowner's insurance, and something breaks down, like your washer. They're like, oh yeah, we'll come out and fix it, but you have to pay like an $85 deductible. So he was referring it to things like that. And I was like, that's not how life insurance works. When you die, they're not going to charge your beneficiaries a deductible to pay you out.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I was having to break down to him. So I think there's a stigma that because the insurance is attached, the name of insurance is attached to it, it comes with that negative connotation that, like, oh, in all insurance companies are bad and they're going to take my money, or they're not going to use it the way I need it to. So I think that's the main reason.
So with that being said, if that's a valid reason to, discredit what insurance stands for, do you think, so like when it comes to phone insurance, right? So phone insurance, you have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think people like getting coverage on their phone as versus a car, right? Because we always say, hey, it's crazy how you insure your car, you insure your phone, your home, but you don't insure your life. But some people say, well, I don't have a choice when it comes to my car. I can't drive off the lot. I can't drive off the lot
Right.
without car, so I have to. But going back to the phone thing, why do you think people want to get their phone and stuff or devices covered with insurance, expensive devices?
Because, I mean, there it goes. The word expensive. Some people actually pay cash for their phones, which is wild. And no judgment to anybody. Do what you feel like you gonna do. But dropping $1,500 on a phone, they're like, I'm gonna insure this. You know what I mean? Some people, Louis Vuitton bags. Some people insure their bags. So it's just like, I mean, and you carry it everywhere you go. Like, you literally do not put it down. You take it to the bathroom with you, all these things. So obviously people are going to insure something that they feel like, you know what, I dropped a whole $1,500 on this. I'm going to insure it, make sure if anything goes wrong, screen gets cracked, I have access to something else to where I can use. Because a lot of people too, like our business is on our phone. You know what I mean? If we don't have a phone, we ain't talking. We ain't talking to people. Business not moving. You know what I mean? So I think it's that too. There's a lot of people who are like, dang, like if I don't have my phone, we ain't making no money. Or people probably like, if I don't have my phone, life ends.
Yeah,
Like there are people like when their phone dies, they're like, I feel so unconnected from the world. You know, like
but
we're so
but
attached.
that's different when it comes to insurance. So let me get this clear. You're saying that people, they see value in these devices. They
Yep.
see value in their Louis Vuitton bags, right? In high end name brand bags. They see value into it. So they're saying that if something happens to this bag, they definitely want to get it insured because of the benefit of the result of that. So like, let's say if they lose their bag or the bag gets a hole in it, probably the coverage is saying like within a year you can probably return it because you have coverage, right? Or
Yeah.
if you
Or
lose
if,
your cell phone, you get the iPhone 15
yeah,
and you
you
like,
could get a
man, I love this
replacement.
thing, and it has water damage. But if you have insurance coverage, they're saying like they can easily replace it instead of you paying a whole nother $1,500
Yeah.
for the phone. So because it's valuable, that's crazy.
Right.
And that makes me think too, because a lot of times when people think about or when they hear life insurance, like they're turned off immediately.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that they don't understand the value of that, of life insurance and what it can actually do?
I think it's a mixture of that and not wanting to think about them dying. You know what I mean? Because when you have that conversation, you're really opening up your feelings. You know, you're talking about when you're gone. Who wants to talk about that?
Yeah,
You
true.
know, it's a very touchy subject. But obviously we know, like, you know, without having the conversation, then you know, you're putting a lot of burden on your family when you're gone. You know what I mean? Like, especially if you're a huge income earner. I don't care like how huge of an income earner you are in your household. Like, you really have to like put into perspective, if you were gone, would your significant other be able to keep up the bills just with their job? And I think we miss that. We miss a lot. You know what I mean? And now not only are they supposed to grieve you, but they're supposed to still work as if you didn't go because there's nothing else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And so it's crazy. And there was a time where I didn't necessarily think life insurance was a scam, but I didn't think it was important right at the time. Until
Why?
until our situation. So for me, I didn't think it was important because I didn't feel like there was ever a need. Like, people, it's kind of like Christianity, right? You have people, they say, nah, I don't need, like, I want to do everything I want to do right now in life. I want to do this. I want to have sex over here. I want to drink that. I want to smoke this. I just want to do everything that I can possibly do until I get old age. And they say, now that I'm in the bed on my quote unquote deathbed, I want to give my life to the Lord. You get what I'm saying? And so in relation, I feel like for me at the time, I'm like, I don't need it now because it's for death. It was my understanding that life insurance was for death only.
So
And
I have a question for you.
mhm.
So were you saying it's not for you because you're young? Like, are you automatically assuming that, oh, like when I hit retirement age, then I should be thinking about getting a life insurance account?
Absolutely,
Okay.
because it's
Or policy, I
it's
should say.
because it's like a vision board, right? If you're young, you're thinking about your future. If you're young, you're thinking about the family that you don't have that you want. If you're young, you're thinking about the career that you want to be in. If you're young, you're thinking about like financial freedom. What can I do right now that will allow me to be financial free later? And so I'm thinking about success, I'm thinking about growth, I'm thinking about building.
Yeah.
And so now once you slide the word life insurance into that vision, I'm like, no, I'm not. It don't apply to me
I don't want
now.
to hear all that.
Like, here's my vision board.
Right.
Like, this is what I'm thinking of doing. And you talk
Right.
about life insurance, but the realization is that you're not promised tomorrow. You're not
Absolutely.
promised the next 10 years or 20 years. You could have all of these plans, and that those plans alone will not be fulfilled because you're no longer here. What I realize is that yes, you could plan and have these plans in place, but because of life insurance and a will and living trust, you, without you being here, some of those plans still can go through without you.
Yeah.
Like, if you have that in place, a lot of that still can carry out to your family and
Yep.
generations without you being here. And so that's when I saw it valuable when we were struggling financially, and someone who has died, the impact of someone dying for you to receive money. Some people say that's insane. Like, that's the scam right now. Like, you waiting for people to die to receive money. Like, nah, reality is everyone's going to die. That's the
Right.
reality. And I think most people are not thinking about that. They're not thinking that at some point you're going to die.
Yeah.
But then also at some point in your life, you probably built something very valuable that you ought to protect right now
Right.
while you're alive. And so that's, for me, that's what it was. It was like, I didn't feel like I needed it because my goal was to build a big future. Like, my goal was to build a big retirement plan, and just to have everything in order and in place. But I thought talking about life insurance is saying, okay, so now I have to plan my death. No, it's just in case, right? And I think the difference too, since we're on the topic of life insurance, we're gonna just break down simple concepts, right, of what life insurance is, what it's for, and then the type of benefits, right, that you have with them. And so, life insurance, there are two types of life insurance. So you have a term policy, right? What is a term policy?
It's only active for a term. So you have about 10, 20, 30
30 years,
years, and then you have to renew.
right? So term, it has an expiration date, right? The highest you can get is probably 30 years, right? Um, but because it has an expiration date, a term policy is the most affordable policy to purchase. So most of the population, they get term policies because they say it's affordable. I'm paying $25 a month for a $2 million policy.
Right.
It sounds good. But what happens if you outgrow the expiration date, outgrow that term policy, outlive that term policy, right? If you outlive the expiration date, what happens? And we'll talk about that. So that's the first type of insurance. Second type, you have a permanent life insurance. Permanent, right, lasts your entire life, okay? Your whole life. And so you have those two types of coverage or insurance that you can have. And there are a variation of different benefits that are associated with it all. But now I do want to just kind of talk about outliving the expiration date and how important it is to understand what you have. So the term, like I say, sometimes people, they get it. I'm excited. I'm happy. Yes, I got a $2 million policy. But let's say 30 years later, it's time to renew that policy. Because you're renewing, right? Insurance, they go off of your age, they go off of, God forbid, your health, and then they go off of your gender. For some strange reason, they say women will outlive men. So
I
the
mean, well,
cost of insurance for women
that's
is
common
cheaper
sense.
than it is for men. Okay, so I don't know if that's
Because
a
y'all
double.
just be
I
doing
don't know
some
if that's a
reckless stuff.
hey. I don't know if that's a double standard. They assumption. I don't know what that is. But look, so they go off of your age, your health, and your gender. So in 30 years, when it's time to renew that wonderful, affordable term policy, guess what? It will no longer be wonderful. it will no longer be affordable because of your age now. It went from $25 a month to $350 or $400. Like I say, God forbid your health. What if your health gotten worse within those years?
Yep.
Now, boom, you could be paying $500-$600 a month,
Yeah.
$700 a month. And guess what? Will you renew it knowing that? No.
Right.
So now you're going the rest of your life without it because someone told you that you can have a term policy for the rest of your life.
So how does one who has a term policy remedy that?
Elaborate. What do you mean?
Like, for example, if you had an agent who, set you up with that term, like what would a good agent do?
I feel like a good agent, first of all, I'm talking about square one, at the point you guys are talking, discussing, getting to know each other, getting to know your life, you getting to know my life, the industry, right? But then also looking at your financial state, right? They want to know, if how deep in debt are you in, right? They definitely want to know, like, as far as long time job, if you have a family, things like that, and that's very important because that will determine the coverage, right? The death benefit amount that you would need in the event that you pass away.
Yeah.
So a good agent will know those things, but then also will explain what you have, right? So typically, the reason why people will go for a term policy is because they cannot afford a permanent policy. A permanent policy lasts your entire life, so the monthly premiums cost more.
Yeah.
The monthly premiums cost more, so they say, well, since I can't afford this now, an agent would recommend, hey, well, how about we set up a term policy for you temporarily? Temporarily, that way you have coverage. But at the point that you feel like you're financially ready, we could convert your term policy into a permanent policy, and then also with living benefits, which we will talk about shortly. So yeah, I think a good agent would explain that your term policy will expire at some point. But then they also can tell you that this term policy could line up with the term of your home mortgage, right? So in the event that you pass away, or if you had a terminal illness, critical illness, or even chronic illness within the 30 years of that term policy, you could actually use that for the mortgage on your home in that term too. So,
And that's huge too, having the living benefits with insurance too, because a lot of people tend to deplete their retirement resources because of unforeseen illness that happens to where they end up in the hospital and they have to pay all these medical bills, and they're like, well, we don't have the funds to do it, so I guess we're gonna have to come out of the retirement nest egg. And which is a main reason why people end up not retiring as well, or not having enough to stay retired. Because, like, have you guys ever wondered why you would work at a job and you would see so many older folk there, and they're like, oh, I retired, but now I have to work again.
yeah.
Like,
And there's the biggest excuse is, I just got to keep moving. I'm good financially. I just need to keep moving. Because
Yeah.
I've been moving for the last 30, 40 years. So
Right.
nah, bro, your account, your
Yeah.
money depleting.
Yes, and they're good examples for us, the younger generation, to really start saving more aggressively, to have retirement, because no one's thinking about retirement until retirement. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
That's wild.
and then it's too late to think about retirement. Like, all the things that we should have known when we were 20, 25, you don't until you're like 40, 50, and sheesh, it's looking real risky. You know what I mean?
Yep. They say the first 40 years of your life It's where you busting it out, you grinding,
Mm-hmm.
you putting in the work. You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to figure out what it is you want to do in life and where you want to be. So you're busting it out. And so like even if you get something wrong, this is not working for you, you're young enough to try something else, and then
Yes.
you learn that. And then if that's not working for you, you're young enough to try something else. But it's like at some point you have to stick to something. At some point you have to figure out exactly what it is you want and how you're going to get there, because the next 40 years of your life, ooh, that's when people are start looking like, wait, how much do I have in
Right.
my
They start
retirement?
scratching their head and be like, the
How
math
many
is
how
not
many
mathing.
recessions have they been through in their savings account with the 401k? How many pandemics will they go through? You know, people always talk about the recession in 2008, but look at the numbers of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Even 2021 though, or it
Yep.
might have been 2022 actually, as far as like the negative numbers in the market. And so how many more years, if you're looking at the next 40 of your life, you're like, I'm in a bad position. I don't even have more than 200,000 in my 401k.
Right. And
Like,
statistics show you need at least 1 million in your nest egg to be comfortable, to pay the bills that you have now, mortgage, water,
and even
electricity.
that's shaky
And that's
already.
exactly.
Typically is this. This is how much you know. This is how you'll know how much coverage at the end of the day you need. You take your annual income and you times that by 10.
Okay.
You times that by 10, that's tell you how much comfortably coverage that you.
So I want y'all to put in the comments, do the math and put it in the comments, and let's see how much y'all need to comfortably retire based off of y'all's income.
Yep.
Because this is an eye opener right here. If you don't and to piggyback off of what you're saying, you're moving and you're trying to create a plan, but if you're moving but have no financial plan, no financial roadmap on where you're going to go, how you're going to retire, everything else is for the wayside. It won't add up.
Won't add up.
It don't matter what you do, you're not going to be able to retire.
And the worst part is this. You have people out there who are ever learning and never being able to come to the knowledge of understanding.
Sheesh.
So people, that's biblical by the way, but people are ever learning. What I mean is they're into everything. Oh, I got to learn this. I got to learn this. I'm doing it, and just bouncing around. Things is not working. You could even present a great opportunity to someone. And I tell people all the time, people don't have to be motivated or passionate to do something. Like sometimes it's the results that would actually motivate you. But if you learn where you could produce income here, you can use that as a stepping stool to get to where you want to be in life. So I don't need passion here, but my point is people are going from here to here, jumping to there, and just ever learning, but never being able to come to the knowledge of the understanding.
So break that down
So watch
real
this.
quick.
So when we hear understanding, right? I had a client tell me about someone else's experience. Okay. So this other person had a permanent life insurance. Okay. This person had a permanent life insurance, and initially they started it at $250 a month. Right? So that's their monthly premium. They're putting it for $250 a month. But because of the life insurance policy that they had, it was a flexible premium, right? So it was a flexible policy where, let's say if I couldn't afford $250 that month, I could lower it. The lowest that they were able to go was like $47. So keep that in mind. $47 was the lowest that they can go. And so what happened was the person started their policy with $250 a month. Literally the next month, they dropped it. They lowered it to $47. In their mind, this is why understanding is very important. In their mind, they thought that they can still pay $47 every month and then still be able to earn cash value. So 3 years later, since they're doing 47 a month, they don't understand that their cash value is not going to accumulate, because what they're doing is they're paying for the coverage of life insurance. They're paying to keep the life insurance policy active.
Yes.
That's it. And so 3 years later, they say, "Hey, I'm looking at my income. I'm looking at my cash value, and it's not growing how we thought it will be growing.
Mm.
We sat down, we planned it this way, and it's not growing that way." And so the agent apparently showed him what they initially talked about. That was their understanding. If you was to keep it at 250 every single month, then you will see the growth that we discussed. But because they did not, and then they lowered it, they did not see the growth. And he said, "Well, this is a scam." He says, "I want to cancel my policy and then collect my death." He said the death benefit. He didn't say collect my cash value. Um, and so if you're not in the industry, you don't understand how wild this guy just, the point is. So he says, "I wanted to collect my death benefit." So he tried to cancel his policy and he couldn't access the money. So let's pause here real quick. Let's pause. Most people, this is 80% of the people, they think for some reason that when you get a life insurance policy, now it's active. Anytime I cancel within the first 10 years of my surrender period, I can still collect money out of it, or I can still collect my whole death benefit amount. It does not work that way.
Yeah.
It does not work that way. And I am willing, you can definitely reach out to me. I am willing to sit with you and show you exactly how it works. Because if I explain deeper, I'm going to lose you with insurance talk. And I don't want to lose you. But the point is, people are always learning. You got people on TikTok, they hear about infinite banking. You have people about this or about, cash value life insurance. Like they're ever learning, but never being able to come to the knowledge of the understanding of it. They want the gains, right? They want the results. They want the money. They want the end result of all of the stuff, but they don't understand the process.
Right.
They don't understand how it works in between in order for your end result to be great.
Yeah, because a lot of people think that, like you show them the roadmap, right?
Yep.
And they're like, "Ooh, that looks so amazing." And they think that, like, exactly what you're saying. As soon as they pay the first premium, then they're like, "Oh, like, how much can I pull out?" Like,
yeah, literally.
No.
How much can I pull out right now? Like,
nothing.
what the
You
heck?
have no accumulated cash value. You just paid one premium.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not, and that's the thing. It's not magical.
Right.
Like, this is not magic. You can't put $50 in a life insurance and then pull out 200,000.
Now that's a scam. If you can do that, that's a scam. Because
That's
where is
wild.
this money coming from?
That's wild.
It's
And then everyone will be rich.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone will be rich without putting in work.
It reminds me of those messages that you get in your Instagram or social media, and they're like, "Hey, how many people would like $5,000?"
Yeah,
Like,
man.
all that stuff. So that's exactly what that reminds me of. So it's funny how people pick and choose what they want to call a scam and what they want to believe. But yeah,
That's wild. So the thing is this though, honestly, guys, like we're literally doing this so that you could understand more, but then also the value and how important it is. Like, it's in the name itself. It's called life insurance. So why is it when you hear life insurance, you think death? That's death insurance. We're talking about life insurance, right? So we're in the 2000s. It's 2024 now. Technology. We're keeping up with technology.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, we actually have life insurance policies where you could build cash value inside of it, or we actually have life insurance policies today. If you had a car accident and you have a critical injury, you have access to the money while you're alive. If you have a heart attack, now, and I want you guys to really be honest when I ask this question. How many people do you know that has had a heart attack, stroke, cancer, right? We lost so many people to cancer.
Yep.
You don't know when you're going to get cancer. You don't know if you have cancer, but when you start going and doing your checks periodically, right? Guess what? And then they say, "Oh, unfortunately, you have colon cancer. Unfortunately, you have breast cancer." Like, it sucks. Definitely does. But do you know that we have life insurance today that if they said you had cancer, you could actually file a claim and then you can get approved because that can be considered a chronic or critical illness, right? You have to go through treatments. You might have health care. That's good. So you can still use your health care stuff for it. But guess what? Now you still got this lump sum of money, which
Absolutely.
is tax free, and you can
Yes.
use it for anything else.
And the key word there is tax free.
Tax free. And then finance, right? A lot of times when people don't have that financial support, the thought of that then destroys your body as well, right? So like people say, man, like I have this going on, I have that, I don't know how I'm gonna pay the bill. So now they're stressed,
Yep.
and that's gonna allow their body to react on how they're feeling and how their mind operates. And so with that, can you imagine the opposite though? Can you imagine actually having something to where you received a lump sum of money or you receive a monthly amount of income because of something that you've put in place? It removes the stress, and now you're able to be stronger. You're able to fight the cancer. You're able to fight whatever your diagnosis was because you have that financial stability to keep you afloat. You're no longer thinking about, oh, I got to go out and pay this. You're no longer thinking like, oh, I need to go tap into my 401k and grab all of these things, and so
And be taxed for early
and be
penalty.
taxed and penalized when you access money in your 401k. So just listen, regardless of the experience that you have had when it comes to life insurance, like don't be so close-minded when it comes to other opportunities. You know why? I say this because at the end of the day, it's you. It goes back to the understanding. You move forward with something that you didn't understand. Like, I could be a smooth talker, but if you're not asking to see the contract, if you're not asking to see, wait, what am I signing exactly? They say, oh, here's your DocuSign. Quickly sign that, hurry up, and we can get your policy active. Nah, I'm not about to quickly sign anything. It's you who did not read the fine print. And then, so you can't be upset if you say, I thought I had a permanent policy, but this is a term policy. Yes, it's definitely the agent job to educate you on that. But sometimes you don't have agents that will. We have agents in the industry who are greedy, right? Because we're in an industry where they pay very, very well.
Yep.
Okay, they pay. It's unlimited. There's
no
no
cap.
cap to what you can earn and make in this industry. So you have agents that will incorrectly structure a policy so that they can get paid more on it. Right. And I had a client ask me before because I was showing a client, kind of what to look out for. And the client was like, that's crazy. How will we even know, right, on this end of it regarding the pay? Like if somebody's structured in this, and I was like, it's tough. Like you really can't know. But the only way, I actually have an answer for that. She said, how would I know if somebody's structuring a policy for their own gain? The agent is structuring a policy for their own gain. This is how you're going to know. You join the business.
I was just going to say, you're not going to know unless you know.
You join a business and you learn how to structure policies yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's going back to me. Remember I said I didn't really feel a need for life insurance. But then once we saw, if you guys haven't seen the first episode, check it out. But in the first episode, I was saying when I started seeing my cash value grow in my life insurance policy, I was like, yo, this is crazy. We got access to this cash and it's tax free. That's wild, right? That's what made me actually wanted to get into business because how many people know about this? Nobody. You're hearing this now. You're like, I never heard about anything like this. Why would you?
So
They don't teach it in school, right? They don't teach it in your homes. Why would you know it? But my point is this. Get into business to learn how to structure a policy, and it's going to benefit you.
There it goes.
The thing is this. At the end of the day, life insurance is not a scam based off of a uh, a policy that is not structured correctly. You know what I'm saying? The overall purpose of life insurance is to transfer generational wealth to your family. That's just the number one thing. Like life insurance is not an investment. People say, "Oh, don't invest your money in life. Don't mix investment with life insurance." Like, yeah, you're right, because life insurance is not an investment. Okay, but it definitely could transfer. Like, it's so easy, and then especially people of our culture, like we do things our own way that we feel is best for us, but in actuality, it makes things harder. Okay. And think about all of the people that you've lost. Think about your loved ones, your friends, whoever. Everyone is dying this, different ways, but the same outcome. Everyone has died a different way, but it's the same outcome. People say, "Oh, whose house will this belong to?" You ain't gonna know for a few years because now it's caught up in the courts.
Probate.
It's going to probate,
Or
right?
how many GoFundMe's have you set up or paid into for loved ones?
GoFundMe's, but then how many times where you are unsure on who to contact, who to reach when it was somebody really close to you that passed away? Because we're not talking about this in a home. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't see it valuable. We
Right.
see that Louis V bag valuable.
Right.
So we put
Right.
insurance on. We see that iPhone 15 is valuable to our life. But look, we don't see our own life as valuable. If you have family, if you have loved ones, married, children, uncles, aunties, nephews, niece, like people say, "Oh," because people are selfish. They say, "Oh, I don't want to leave money for other people to enjoy when I'm dead."
Yo,
Like,
that's
why
the
would I do
wildest
that?
statement.
Like, and then especially if it's to a spouse, they like, why would I leave $1 million to my wife
And not even that.
and she can get married? Now they enjoying my money.
And get this, they have a whole bunch of debt that is gonna be going on to you once they die. So it's like, how am I supposed to pay for my debt and your debt?
So this is a true story. So we had a passing in our family, and you had two of the daughters was kind of setting up everything, right, for the family and stuff like that, the funeral. And so the person that passed has a house, right? They have a 401k, all of these things. And he passed maybe about 6 months ago, 7 months, right? So they still don't have any access, right, to the money. Apparently he owed as well on the mortgage. They're like, "Oh, the house is mine. I'm keeping that." Oh, all right, if the house is yours, he back 3-4 months behind on the bill if you want to keep this house. That's the stuff we have to think about.
Yep.
Now. We can't think about it later. And this is the reason why you can't think about this later, is because when you're older, the cost of insurance will be extremely high.
Yep.
And so then we have those groups that's saying insurance is a scam because it's $400. Yeah, that's because you're 80 years old and you're trying to get a whole life policy. You're trying to get a policy for the rest of your 20 years. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not a scam. If you thought about it when you were younger,
yeah.
That's like financial planning. Like if you thought about your retirement when you were younger, then you would have way more money by the time you retire.
Right.
If you thought about other people when you were younger, then in the event that you do pass away, immediately it changes. Immediately. If I die today, my family will have over $1 million tax free. That has never happened in all of my generation. Right? You had a John D. Rockefeller. He was already a wealthy man. He refined up to 90% of the oil in the U.S. He was already wealthy. But what did he do? He got cash value life insurance policies, $1 million cash value life insurance policies, but he didn't need it for the cash value. What he did was, boom, he had that in a trust. Who is the owner of the cash value life insurance policy? The trust. Who is the beneficiary of the cash value life insurance policy? The trust. And so that when he dies, everyone, let's say if he dies and he leaves a family behind, the whole family, guess what? they're going to get life insurance policies, but it's going to be paid out by the trust. They're going to get properly structured cash value life insurance policies, and they're going to fund it properly in order for it to work. And that's going to carry on for generations to generations, even until today. You know about the Rockefellers. That's very powerful. But he thought that when he was younger, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, stop trying to wait until you get older for everything.
Yeah.
Like, you trying to wait till you get older. If you a player right now and you got multiple men and you have multiple women, like, and then you try to wait until you get older, you're only making it worse for the other person who's trying to be with you, because you already got all of this baggage. You know what I'm saying? You got 8 baby mamas. You know what I'm saying? You got 8 baby daddies. You got all of these things because you're like, I'm about to live my best life until I'm 80. And then when I'm 80, I'm going to settle down. I tell you what, that 75-year-old OG, the 60-year-old, 50-year-old, they say, you got too much baggage for me. I ain't trying to settle with you now.
Settle down alone.
I ain't trying to settle with you now, man. It's so, why do we have to wait till we're older for everything? That makes no sense. Man, so this how we gonna do this. So we gonna end this episode, but I want you guys to take what has been said. Like, don't take it lightly. Like, really understand what we're saying, okay? And so, in a nutshell, we're saying that life insurance is not a scam, okay? But you have to make sure that your policy is structured properly, and then you have to make sure that you are funding it properly.
Yeah.
Right. That's the one. 2, if you have a family member, friends, loved ones, parents, uncles, like, start thinking about it right now. We do have affordable coverage for you. We do have, right, a company that we use where it's technology based. You fill out the application, it goes through your underwriting process, right? You don't need any medicals at that time, and then you can be approved in 10 minutes.
Yep.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Yeah, you literally have no excuse.
None at all. Like,
you could do the application all on yourself, on your own.
In the comfort of your home.
Scan the QR code, do everything yourself.
Yep. And within 10 minutes, you'll have an answer. And it's huge. Just imagine, like, the loved ones that you have lost. It's sad and it's unfortunate, but just think about, what if you would have received $2 million extra in that loss? It's unfortunate. But what if, because he thought about you, or because she thought about you and was like, I want you to live the best life even when I'm not here. So now I'm about to set you up right, because I know you have a passion to become a business owner, because I know you have a passion to become a fitness instructor, because I know you have a passion to be the best on your job, to be the best employee on your job. I know you have a passion to be the best husband, to be the best wife, to be the best parent. You have a passion to do that, but when your loved ones pass away, they're leaving that for you, because you can still continue your dreams and your goals and then pay it forward. You can do the same for them. So if you have any questions, you're confused about anything, hit us up.
Yep.
Hit us up. We can definitely answer those questions. And if you're saying that insurance is a scam and it's not valuable, just think about it with the things that you have insurance for. If you have insurance on your phone right now, if you have insurance on your work iPad, right now it's that time for the work stuff. They told about, get your insurance, get it. It's only $30. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the benefits, it comes with the benefits and stuff. So, like, if you have insurance on all of these other material things, that means you're saying that your life is not valuable. You're saying that you're not valuable. You're saying that your family is not valuable, right? So we're out. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Nope. I think you basically touched on everything.
Let's do it. This is Said Talk Podcast,
yo.
baby, and
Peace
we
out.
are out, man.